Without further ado, I think time to begin the proceedings, and what we're all here for is to find out who's playing for who. So, Susan, over to you to start us off.
All right, so let's get this going. The first picks in round 4. I'm calling on Te Wairoa women and Pounamu men to make your first picks. As I said before, you have 3 minutes to pick, starting now. Some picks may be really quick. We're expecting quick picks in this first round as coaches know who they are looking for. And towards the end, it may slow up a bit and coaches use their 3 minutes to make their selections.
Excellent, thanks, Susan. So, Mark and Sam, I mean, we had the marquee draft over the week just gone, and 12 players, 3 from each team, have filtered across the men's and women's sides. Sam, in the first instance, what did you see out of the first round, let's call it, from the top picks in the competition on the women's side of the game? What did you see and note that you thought was of interest?
G'day guys. It was a pretty interesting first round. First 2 picks went with the setters, so tried to secure their lineup there with some good front hands, and Nikki Pio and Ashley Hancock both went first, and then after that we sort of saw the passer hitters come into the fray. So the powerhouse killers who are going to dominate and win some points for some teams. So it was pretty interesting first start, and then when we snaked our way back down to Hauwhenua, it was interesting to see. We didn't really see this last year, I don't think, but sort of a Libero picked up really early. So Hayley Flats got picked up as the second pick for Hauwhenua, which is sort of a bit of an indication they're trying to make that passing lineup nice and solid. So yeah, a bit different than previous years.
In terms of the players, any surprises in who's been included in those top end of the competition? Obviously, you'll be very familiar with Taylor and Rosa from the recent tour, and good to see.
I believe we have our first picks for the coaches. So calling on Andrew Killam for Te Wairoa woman to announce his pick.
Yeah, kia ora everyone. Midlands Te Wairoa will pick Mila Rose Green as our next selection. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. Southern Pounamu, Sebastian, who was your pick?
Kia ora, the first pick is AJ Salmon.
Thank you very much. So our next picks are going to be from Southern Pounamu women and Central Hauwhenua men. Your 3 minutes is starting now.
Thanks, Susan.
Actually, we have them immediately. Wow. So I'm going to go to Mary from Southern Pounamu woman. Who is your first pick?
Southern Pounamu woman, our first pick tonight is going to be Lily Swart.
Thank you, Mary. Colin, who is your pick for Central Hauwhenua men?
Benjamin Sticky Glue.
Thank you. All right, our next picks are Northern Moana woman and Midlands Te Wairoa men. You have 3 minutes starting now.
Excellent, Mary. It'd be great to chat to you for a second. The pick, you didn't need much time there, quite quick off the block there to be able to make who you wanted in your team.
Oh yes, so we sort of hoped that we might get Lily. She was one of our team members last year. This year we're hoping that she will be a very important part of the puzzle. Yeah.
What is it about her specifically that you wanted to include in the squad mix? What does she really bring in terms of her technical ability to the team?
She offers both an option as a middle or an opposite, so it gives us flexibility, which is what you're going to need.
From a point of view, you're one of the 5 returning coaches to the team you're with.
Sorry, guys, going to interrupt you there. Our coaches are picking fast. Lauren from Northern Moana woman, who is your pick for this round?
Kia ora tātou. Northern Moana is going to select Fran Edmondson.
Thank you very much. Keith, who is your pick for Midlands Te Wairoa? Sorry, Keith, you're on mute.
There we go. First fine for me. Kia ora, everybody. Midlands Te Wairoa are going to select Perry Preston.
Thank you very much. Our next picks are Central Hauwhenua woman And Northern Moana men, your 3 minutes is starting now.
Mark, based on what you've seen so far this afternoon, evening, and also what you saw in the first round, what have you noticed in the men's competition about any pick trends that are coming through?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that the trends are pretty clear what the coaches are trying to do. Same as the women's side, the first few picks were the setters. And so build your team around your setter. So Southern Pounamu, they've gone with a strong Canterbury base there. Seb knows his players down there, and Seb knows the style that he wants to play, and those players are accustomed to that. So expect more of the same there. Northern Moana, they've gone for some Canterbury players as well. Interesting Central Hauwhenua. Colin's got some players there. So Johan Timmer, clearly one of the best players in the country. Just never really sure where he is with his injuries. Clearly, if he's fully fit, Johan is certainly pretty much unstoppable. And gone with his favourite son, Sticky Glue there. Hardly surprising again. And again, Mania Harris, who
all right. Sorry, guys, we have our next picks in. Brendan, can you please give us your pick for Central Hauwhenua woman?
Kia ora, everyone. For our fourth pick, we choose Mama Vapulu.
Thank you very much. Neil, who is your pick for Northern Moana men? Sorry, Neil, you're on mute.
Northern Moana men pick Nate Moore.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the fifth round. We're coming into the next picks. So once again, Central Hauwhenua women are going to pick, in keeping with the snake, and Northern Moana men. Your 3 minutes is going to start now.
Thanks, Susan. We did several polls in the lead up to the draft today, and one of those talked to what people thought was going to be the winning side on the women's competition based on the marquee players. And I think so far, based on what we've seen, 37% of backing on Southern Pounamu with the highest return. Sam, what do you see from that poll and the numbers of players and who those players are that talk to why Pounamu might be favourites at this point?
Okay.
Sorry, mate, we missed that. We got Neil. Can you mute yourself again, please? The poll, mate.
Yeah, Southern Pounamu leading the poll. Why do you see that on the basis of the marquee players? What do you like about them? Do you support the community's feeling that Southern are going to get the competition out?
Well, I think it's a pretty close one to call early days when you've only got sort of 3 players released. But it's a pretty good lineup. I like their setting choice. Kalani's back in New Zealand, which is quite a. She was over at San Diego State playing on scholarship over there, so she's back for the NVL, which is pretty exciting. And there's a bit of a. We weren't too sure in early days whether she was going to be available or not, so that's quite a cool pickup, really. Big block on that right side. So. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's very early days. I'll give you my opinion at the end.
I think one of the things, consistency in coaching, and obviously Mary knows the competition, knows the players, and knows the region well. So having someone who's well au fait with the players from that part of the world, and also how the competition works and navigating the logistical stuff for the players over the course of the weekend that we'll be playing will be an important.
We have our next picks in from the 2 coaches who picked in the last round again. So Central Hauwhenua, Brendan, who was your pick for the fifth round?
For our fifth pick, we select Burkett. I'm not going to pronounce his surname properly. Wostenhagen.
Thank you. And Neil, Northern Moana, who is your pick?
Sam Hodges.
Thank you. All right. Second picks in the 5th round, Northern Moana women and Midlands Te Wairoa men. Your 3 minutes is starting now.
Neil, just keen to chat to you. Obviously, you've just gone bang bang there with selections. What do you see as the advantages and disadvantages potentially of a snake draft that has just affected your pick strategy there?
Neil, you're on mute, sorry.
So with the snake draft, if you get the first pick, so you get one, you have to wait 6, but then you get to pick a combination. And with picking combinations, you're looking for a bit of connection between your first pick and your second, thirds. So it does give you the chance to group them together, but it can be a long wait to get the ones you want.
Did you get the ones you wanted?
Oh, I want everybody. That's the problem.
Okay, on that, we have our next coaches picking. So Lauren from Northern Moana Woman, who is your pick for the 5th round?
Thanks, Suze. Northern Moana would like to select Lena Samia.
Thank you very much. And Keith for Midlands Te Wairoa Men, who is your pick?
The Midlands Te Wairoa Men would like to select Connor Gianotti.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. All right, we're coming up to Southern Pounamu Woman and Central Hauwhenua Men. Your picks for the 5th round. 3 minutes is starting now.
So Mark, in terms of what you're seeing from the picks side of things this year to what happened last year, is there anything that does stand out as being different slightly or changed?
Yes, most definitely. So having no marquee players from your own zones has meant that it's far more spread out. So if you look at the Midland teams, they started off with a couple of Auckland players. You look at the Northern team, they started with a couple of Canterbury players. Central, they went Canterbury, then Northern. So there's players from all over the show. So it's going to be much more mixed now, less opportunity to get those combinations. The players that Seb had in the Southern team last year are not all available to him this year because they're getting picked up earlier.
Thank you very much there, Mark. Sorry to interrupt you. We've got our next picks ready. So we've got Mary from Southern Pounamu Woman. Who is your pick?
Southern Pounamu Woman would like to keep it in the family and have Gabriella Edmondson.
Nice. Colin, who is your pick for Central Hauwhenua?
Jeremy Nelson.
Thank you very much. All right, the next 3 minutes is going to Midlands Te Wairoa Woman and Southern Pounamu Men.
Just because Susan ruthlessly cut you off there, Mark, we'll come back to you, but we'll pivot a little bit into something else. Given that, I guess, 35-year experience, you're well placed here. What have you noticed about how volleyball's changed and how it's played? Is there any differences that you've picked up on in how the game's actually played now at really high levels across the world and in New Zealand in that time?
Oh yeah, clearly it has. When I first started, the Asian influence was still quite strong, and the game was played quite fast. And the fast game, the Japans and the Korean teams could actually compete against the big boys. Then the Americans really kicked in and started just playing power game. And then the Central Europeans sort of copied that with potentially bigger and harder hitting players. So the game's changed a lot. Probably the biggest change at the moment is the speed of the sets. So the big high ball is now almost a no-no. It's just only an emergency ball. The faster, flatter game, so the ball's set across the net only marginally above the first wave player out to the second wave to create real confusion in the defence as to whether it's going through the middle or it's going to the outside. So the ball that Seb's been playing has clearly come from Seb's influence, has come from overseas. And if you just look at any of the videos of the internationals now, the speed of the game has certainly made a huge difference to the way the game's played.
Thank you, Mark. I'm going to interrupt there. We have our next picks ready. So Midlands Te Wairoa, Andrew, who is your pick? Just remember to take yourself off mute.
I clicked it, but obviously not properly. We're going with Liz Hannah for our next pick. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Sebastian for Southern Pounamu, who is your pick?
Southern Pounamu is going to go with Cristobal Lopez.
Thank you very much. That brings us into the 6th round. The picks are zooming along. Our first picks for this round, again, are going to be Midlands Te Wairoa and Southern Pounamu Men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Sam, I'm not sure if you've had a chance, given that you've just come off an international commitment and a day job and trying to live life as well. Have you had a chance to get out into the community and amongst the zone league for the prep towards the club championships in October?
Yeah, we've been rolling along. It's a bit different in the south, so we don't have quite as many weekends as in the North Island. But yeah, we're off to Blenheim next weekend for the second Southern Zone. So no, ticking along all right, the Southern Zone stuff. So yeah, it's the long season, eh? And so with a whole lot of things in it. So the international window that we just had was pretty cool with the New Zealand junior women, and then we've been taking it pretty easy at the moment and ramp it up a bit closer to club nationals, I think. So pretty cool start to those picks, eh? There's some interesting ones have come out of the fray on the women's side, I reckon. Pretty keen on. So Andrew's obviously got some inside knowledge over there with young Mila. She was in our junior women's team, and she jumps out the gym and contacts the ball at a really high point. So yeah, she's. I didn't think she was going to go quite that early, but that's pretty cool. So yeah, and then another like Lily as well shot out of that junior team as well. So that's 4 of those junior women that have been picked up pretty early, which is pretty cool.
Thanks very much there, Sam. Our next picks are ready. So Andrew from Midlands Te Wairoa woman, who is your pick? Andrew, there we go.
Am I on now? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Having trouble unmuting. Sam, we're going with another one. Keeping it in the Waikato, we're going to pick Mordrifa.
Thank you very much. Sebastian for Southern Pounamu men, who is your pick for the 6th round?
Southern Pounamu is going to go with Saxon Koth.
Thank you very much. All right, Southern Pounamu woman and Central Hauwhenua men, your 3 minutes starts now.
So obviously last year was the first year of the NVL, and we obviously saw some of the really, I guess, athleticism and I guess really strong moments of quality around the competition. And we had photographers out and about at each of the sessions in Auckland and Christchurch, and we've got a selection of images for you just to take you through those if there's time. But it looks like we might have to skip over that because the picks are being made quickly. Susan.
I think we've only just got one at the moment, though.
One at the minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Kayla, have you got the deck there for that slideshow? Hopefully this sparks a few memories for those involved last year and sign of things to come. Some big bunnies there. Nice.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got our next picks ready. So we've got Mary from Southern Pounamu woman. Who is your pick for the 6th round?
Our 6th round pick for Southern Pounamu woman is Sinead Stark.
Thank you very much. And Colin, who is yours for Central Hauwhenua men?
Lenny Meyer.
Awesome. Great picks. Thank you very much. Northern Moana woman, your turn to pick along with Midlands Te Wairoa. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Southern Pounamu woman.
Colin, just on the back of your pick, mate, keen to have a chat and ask a little bit about what it's like to be a returning coach in the competition this year. What did you learn last year that you're going to bring to the table this year potentially?
Well, firstly, it's just a real privilege to be picked again. It's a really cool event, and it's really just fun to be part of. It's just really, I enjoy coaching sort of other players, and so that part of it's fantastic. As far as the picks are a little bit different because we have a different format. We have 5 games over 3 days. So your depth and your culture and that develop those sorts of things over that time is going to be pretty interesting as a coach. So it relies, so that's sort of part of how you select as well. So it is a bit different with the format, but it's an amazing event to be part of.
If you could target one thing that you thought was the best element from a coaching perspective last year around your involvement, what would that be?
Oh, I think it sharpens you up. Like you can get into a bit of a system with your own players and that. But I felt the 4 men's teams last year were all of a standard of similar to in New Zealand, if not better than New Zealand teams that are going overseas. So I think it sharpens you up. Yeah, it gets you back on the horse and gets you going, gets you excited.
Nice one. Is there anything that you've taken from what you delivered in the NVL back into another environment somewhere else in your coaching system?
I thought some of the players I had last year, just the culture they brought into the team in a short amount of time was absolutely fantastic. just some of the leadership and some of the stuff that went on behind the scenes. So for me, there was some very special men in that group, and I learned a lot from them.
Hey, Colin.
Thank you, Colin. We've got our next picks ready for this round. So Lauren Fleury, who is your pick for the Northern Moana woman?
Northern Moana would like to select Carla Tyson.
Thank you, Lauren. And Keith, for Midlands Te Wairoa men, who would you like to pick?
Midlands Te Wairoa men for our 6th selection would like to choose Josh Tiplady.
Thank you very much. Our next picks, the last ones in round 6, are going to be the Central Hauwhenua woman and the Northern Moana men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thanks, Susan. We are lucky enough to be joined now by 2 up-and-coming youngsters. Can we still call them that, given all the experience they've had recently? Rosa and Taylor, good to have you aboard and on the call. How's it been watching the draft unfold? I think just after training, was it?
Yeah, we just had a training session from total 4-ish. But yeah, it's been pretty exciting. Come home, put it on the TV, and then hide in the other room while we're on this call. But real good.
Nice one, Taylor. Has there been any chat between the both of you about who went ahead of the other in the draft yet? How does that all look?
Oh yeah, it's been lots of banter within us and our Shirley team, which has been pretty cool. Yeah.
Sam, you coach both of these players. What do the teams they're playing for getting in who they are as people as much as they are volleyball?
Oh, big question, mate. They're getting a pretty good bang for their buck, I reckon. It's pretty Taylor was selected obviously 3rd. She's one of the powerhouses in terms of being able to put a ball on the floor. Bit of a quiet achiever, doesn't say too much on the volleyball court, but just gets about her work and does a pretty good job there. And then you snake back down to Rosa, a number 5 pick, and you're getting the first and only middle in that top 12 that was selected. So that was kind of a point of interest, I thought. So obviously she's doing something right on the court that people are noticing. And she's a pretty cool cat to be on the court with, good, loud, rowdy person to be on the court with. Good celebrations too, like the fist pump. You'll see some photos of that. It's just too good.
Thanks, Sam. Hate to interrupt. Hopefully we can come back to you. We've got our next picks from Central Hauwhenua woman. If you would like to give yours, Brendan.
For our next pick, which I think is our 5th, 6th, I can't remember, 6th.
6th, yeah.
We select Ella Ferguson.
Thank you very much. And Neil, who is your pick for Northern Moana men? Sorry, Neil, you're on mute.
Our next pick for Northern Moana is Simon Pedersen.
Thank you very much. That takes us back around to the next round, round 7. Same coaches will be getting the pick again, so they're having a double up. So that's Central Hauwhenua woman and Northern Moana men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
I just want to check, Susan, are Rosa and Taylor still on the call?
Pardon?
Rosa and Taylor still on the call?
We're still here.
They're still there. Excellent. Rosa, I just want to talk to you. You're not playing for Southern this year. How are you going to find that playing for Northern-based team versus the home team? How's that going to feel?
Oh, I'm excited to be playing. It doesn't matter. Obviously, playing for Southern was such an amazing experience last year, and then obviously getting to play for my region was really cool. But I mean, there was a a wonderful southerner of Kim Smith in Midlands last year. So I don't know if I can even just fill one of her boots, that'd be pretty incredible. So just excited to be here, really.
Nice. So what's going to happen when you come side by side, opposite sides of the net during points? Is there going to be anything that goes on there?
No, we don't like to even look at each other when we play against each other. Last year was eyes down.
Yeah.
Eyes down, no eye contact.
What's it like seeing between you, the other players from your team getting selected in the NVL draft now as well? So the likes of yourself and Maud as well, and other players starting to come through. It must be good to see that happening where younger and younger players are getting involved.
Yeah, it's so cool to see like lots of our New Zealand junior women's team coming through. Really impressive, and I'm pretty obviously excited to get to play with two of them again, which is really epic. Two people who I don't usually play with, obviously, but bit of a reunion and see where it takes us. It'll be very exciting.
Thank you, Rosa. We've got our next two picks ready. So can we please have Brendan, your pick for Central Hauwhenua Woman?
For our next pick, we select Holly Chandler.
Thank you, Brendan. And Neil, if you could unmute yourself. Lovely. Who's your pick for Northern Moana men?
Next pick for Northern Moana men is Carrick Corson.
Thank you very much. That takes us to Northern Moana women and Midlands Te Wairoa men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Sam, if I could circle back to you and just kind of almost ask the same question of you as the one I just asked Rosa. The pathway for players, obviously now with the NVL coming in to the mix of the other events that are in the volleyball calendar. Nice to be able to see those players who are in the youth and younger age group teams that support the senior international program starting to get an opportunity to be part of competitions like this to help with the progression up the pathway.
Yeah, definitely. I think actually being seen as well on the junior tour allows some of those athletes to get picked up as well. So having something for our international program, you know, with COVID knocking things on the head in the last few years, it's been that was our first sort of international experience, a 5-match test series against Australia, which was pretty awesome. Both those teams would have been heading to Asian champs in Kazakhstan if it would have, you know, if the environment was a little bit different. So to have an international experience against a pretty good Australian team was really good for them. So yeah, having them getting picked up is awesome. It kind of makes me smile, and I'm sure Kim's smiling watching at home as well. Like pretty proud of that team and what they achieved during that tour. So yeah, it's nice to see.
Nice. Mark, from your perspective, is there anything that you've noted through the last few rounds that have sort of confirmed or not what you thought was going to happen here with who's being selected and where?
You got him thinking. He's taken off the glasses.
Yeah. So we got sort of an. Am I muted? I hope I am.
You're not.
No.
Yeah.
You're not Mark.
I'm pretty sure he said Mark, but no, Andrew, you feel free to answer the question. I'm just here for the ride.
I will interrupt you both. I'll knock this one on the head because we have our next two picks. So Lauren, if you would like to give us your pick, please, from Northern Moana woman.
Thanks, Suze. Northern Moana selects Katie Sadlier.
Thank you very much. And Midlands Te Wairoa, Keith, who have you got?
Excellent. So the Midlands Te Wairoa men would like to select Sean Maiava.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks very much, coaches. Our next ones are going to be Southern Pounamu women and Central Hauwhenua men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Lauren, now that you've just made your selection with Katie in the last pick there, keen to get a view from you around how you see moving from an assistant coach role last year to a head coach role. Is there anything you picked up on that journey last year that will be really valuable in stepping into that different role this time around?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I think part of the good thing working with the coaches is that you really get to work as a team. So last year, being assistant with Andrew for Te Wairoa, I think we had complementary skills. So I think that's when it always works out the best, when you've got coaches that complement each other as far as what they're going to bring to it. At the end of the day, I think the head coach is always going to have that final say, whether it's here in the draft or on game days. So yeah, just looking forward to that challenge and seeing what we can get when we build this team up.
Obviously, you got Sudi on the bench there with you. How's the connection with him going so far, and what do you think that'll look like come first game?
Yeah, I think, well, having Sudi next to me will be great. Obviously, I know him from a player-coach relationship, so this is going to be a different step for us with coaching together. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what we can do. He's obviously pretty keyed into the Northern Zone players and what's going up there. So yeah, and hopefully I can hit up some of the people here. Obviously, Carla's from my region. I've played with her and coached her, and obviously some of the players we've selected so far from the South Island I've known for a long time and played alongside in Volleyferns. So yeah, pretty pleased with what we're doing so far.
Thanks very much, Lauren. Our two next picks are ready. So Mary, who is your pick for Southern Pounamu woman?
Our 7th pick for Southern Pounamu woman is Melanie Van Ort.
Thank you very much, Mary. And Keith, who is yours for Central Hauwhenua men?
Colin.
Sorry, Midland. Yes, Central Hauwhenua. Colin. Sorry, Colin, not Keith.
Campbell Forsyth.
Thank you, Colin. Last picks in this round, Midlands Te Wairoa woman and Southern Pounamu men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Given we're at the last part of the round, it'd be good to get a visual on where the teams are at with their selections. Kayla, if you could bring up where the women's teams are at now so we can have a scan back and see who's where.
Yeah, some looking there. You've got both of these got some talented setters there. You've got some power hitters. Northern Moana's picked up a Libero there, nice and early. It's the teams are really developing well.
And from a perspective of the choices there, is there anything that stands out around what one of those teams might have in terms of a playing style based on what you see of those 6? Obviously, those 6 will be key, and I imagine would spend a lot of the minutes on court. How's the team going to look with those players in the action?
Well, Keith's got some good combinations there with Ashton, Daniel, and Perry there. So those combinations are going to be key. He's got some good passes there, so he should get some good ball into Ashton to distribute. I'll be interested in the next pick because there's no Libero in there, so that'll potentially affect the quality of his ball into the setter. But yeah, fairly predictable. The Northern Moana there. They've got some big units. You've got Big Sam Hodges in there. When he hits the ball, it stays hit. Simon, another veteran who just keeps on getting better, can play. I think Neil can play him pretty much anywhere he wants to. So depending on how everyone else is going and what style Neil wants, he can chop and change there.
And from a family connection point of view, obviously Luke Holston in that team and brother Troy was a big achiever in last year's competition. What's the key differences between those two and how they both play?
The Holsteins.
Yeah.
Well, we're really comparing apples and oranges here. Yeah. I mean, they're both outstanding volleyballers. They both read the game really well. They're pretty calm. They're collected. They like to milk their coach, Seb, all the information he's got and take it on board. As far as a Libero goes, I particularly like Luke and the way he remains calm, organises. He doesn't not shouting at people, but when he says this is your role, this is what's happening, that's what's happening. And the front court, as far as setting goes, well, I'm going to get interrupted, aren't I, Susan?
No, you're good.
Oh.
Yeah, that's actually the 3 minutes. So if Andrew, if you have your pick ready.
I've been having a lot of trouble muting and unmuting, but I think the button's working now. You got me?
Yeah.
Midlands Te Wairoa for our 7th pick. We're going across to the Bay of Plenty, and we will select Tasia Clark.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And Sebastian for Southern Pounamu. Southern Pounamu men. Who was your pick?
Yep. Southern Pounamu is going to pick Tom Taylor.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. All right. Same 2 coaches picking again. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Nice one, Taylor. If we could have a look now at the update on both the women's teams, and we can have a look at how the rosters are filling out for all those women's sides in the competition.
It's all looking pretty even across the board, I reckon, mate. There's been some pretty good pickups. Quite an interesting one. A couple of teams have got their second setter now, so that's quite good. There we go. We got Hauwhenua with Nikki Pio, number 1 pick. I'll tell you one thing about that. She's really looking forward to the opportunity to take on some leadership in that space. So it's quite exciting for Nikki, I think. And she's got a good wee team underneath her there now. It's looking pretty sharp. So we had Mama last year as well in the Central Hauwhenua, who's a real powerhouse. She's playing rugby at the moment for Auckland in the NPC. Same as Stacey, obviously playing for Canterbury rugby as well. So a few dual-coded athletes that are sort of competing at a pretty high level across a couple of sports as well. So both rosters looking pretty good. Mary, I was going to ask her early on who her favourite daughter was, but that's obviously clear now with Gabby being in her team. So it's got a Libero, and they've got the passing lineup basically from the club team here in Christchurch as well, with Taylor, Petra and Gabby. So it could be a pretty stable, or hopefully, I hope it's a pretty stable base to pass from. So looking pretty tidy across both teams.
Sounded like Sam voted in the poll for Southern itself, which is not probably a surprise there, I guess. Sam, what are you seeing there with the numbers to fill in there, 7 through 12? Like, based on who's in the list higher, what kind of profile of player would you expect to see in 7 through 12? Is there anything in particular, a skill set that would start to fill out those spots?
Yeah, I think both teams need to pick up. It depends on what Mary's up to with Lily, and I suppose that versatility with her is quite cool, playing right side or middle. But I would say both of them will need to pick up a third middle, and actually a second middle for Central. So that'll be maybe an early-ish pick for Central. Southern, who's there?
You can have a little think about that, Sam, because our next picks are in. So, Andrew, who is your pick for Midlands Te Wairoa woman?
We're interesting listening to Sam and his thoughts. Yeah. and some debate at this end. We are going to select Kathy Porter next.
Thank you, Andrew. And Sebastian for Southern Pounamu men, who is your pick for the 8th round?
Pounamu men is picking Maddie Bell.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. All right, there goes the timer. So we're coming in under 3 minutes. Southern Pounamu woman and Central Hauwhenua men, your 3 minutes starts now.
So Sam, and I guess I'll throw it open to both of you really, Sam and Mark, but what would you like to see achieved with the NVL this year to really cement it into the pathway? What are the things that stood out from last year as the next step in terms of being able to get the competition in the ground and understood about how it fits into the system?
I think you've got a pretty good buy-in from player base at the moment. Like the people that are around in the country are choosing to do it, which is awesome. And so there's obviously interest from the athletes. The branding and things we've done, I think the Volleyball New Zealand's done a really good job of creating a brand of team awareness and stuff like that is quite cool too. I think opening it up this year is going to be, because it's over that one slightly longer weekend, opening it up across the board with having no protected players from your zones has made it super interesting. It's really spread some of that top talent in terms of the picks, and that's exciting because I think the players that get out on the court are going to be really sort of fighting against each other, which is exactly what you want from a competition, you know. And so hopefully we get some decent sized crowds and promote the game really well, because it is a spectacle, and the athletes are coming from national women's programs and then some of our age group programs as well. And so that combination of athletes, seeing that as another step for themselves is pretty exciting going forward. So it's a good concept.
Thanks, Sam. Our next picks are ready. So we're going to have Mary from Southern Pounamu Woman. Who is your pick?
For our 8th pick for Southern Pounamu Woman is Maui Pareki.
Thank you very much, Mary. And Colin, for Central Hauwhenua Men, who are you picking?
Big Ben Arnold.
Lovely. Thank you very much. That brings us to Northern Moana Woman and Midlands Te Wairoa Men. Your 3 minutes is starting now.
So I believe and there we go, look, right on time. Gliding straight into the hot seat. Petra Anderson, welcome aboard. Good to have you on the call. How's things?
Thanks, good. It's been pretty fun helping out Ms here with the picks.
What are you seeing in terms of the international arena and where the players are going? How do you see if there's been any difference to what you saw last year and how the draft's unfolding so far?
I think it's cool how many younger players are coming through. I think this is a great way to develop those younger players and bring them up and play at a higher level in New Zealand. So that's awesome.
What was your experience like last year? What was the best part of being involved in the NVL?
I think representing the Southern Pounamu was the best part. It's pretty cool to be back in the same team. Obviously from Canterbury, so it's my homeland. But yeah, just getting to play with players from all over the country, create different connections, and just playing a high level of volleyball in our country.
Nice. How do you see it tying in and helping the international program potentially in the future as the NVL gets more and more instilled in the landscape?
I think it's great for developing players and just getting time playing together. I think we often struggle on our international trips, just getting a week or two in advance. So yeah, getting those connections and with players from all over the country that you're going to be potentially in a national team with is pretty cool.
Nice one. And away from volleyball, when you get time to do that, what do you do most of the time? What do you like to do when you're not playing volleyball or you're inside a gym somewhere?
Study, yeah. I'm just finishing off my master's degree in industrial organizational psychology. So doing my dissertation this year. So yeah, time towards that is what I do outside of volleyball probably.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Petra. I'm sure that keeps you extremely busy outside of the volleyball life. We have our next picks in Northern Moana Woman. Who is your pick, Lauren?
Thanks, Suze. We're going to throw this one back and go with just an epic leader all around the place, and Northern Moana selects Anna Harrison.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Keith, for Midlands Te Wairoa, who do you have?
So Midlands Te Wairoa for our 8th pick, selecting Fred Mann.
Fred Mann. Thank you very much. That brings us to the last picks of the 8th round. We've got Central Hauwhenua Woman and Northern Moana Men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Mark, just going back to one of the polls we published today around who might be the early team to watch based on who was drafted, and the Central Hauwhenua Men were the ones sitting at the top of that tree. Mark, based on who's been drafted, why do you think that is, and do you think that's actually what will happen?
Thanks for coming to me after Sam. It's about 4 rounds after Sam. It's making my life a little bit easier, but
trying to balance that out for you.
No, that's good. That's makes my life easier. No, I mean clearly after the first 3 rounds, you got potentially got 3 of the top players there in that group with Troy, Mania, and Johan. So if you just look at just those 3. Potentially the best players in their positions. They've certainly all performed. 2 of them performed really well last season, and Johan, when he gets his body right, is unstoppable. Some of the others, well, each of the others really picked it has got one player who may have been a bit of a surprise pick in the top three. So, but that central top three were all pretty outstanding selections from the wily old head here there, Colin.
I thought Sticky might have been in there, eh?
Yeah. How did that go down at home, Colin, when Sticky wasn't picked in the first three? Was there any disagreement there, Colin?
Oh, no, we're still good.
I just detected a little bit of yeah, but no. So you're still on speaking terms with each other. Fabulous. Yeah, and my prediction on how it's going. Yeah, much like Sam said, there's each team has got some great pickups. They're you can see where they're going. The middles have now been selected. I was a little surprised how late some of these middles came through. Especially with the setters we've got around there at the moment, who can certainly utilise their middle players. So, but I think everyone's got their talent there in the middle. Still, I think a couple of teams maybe need a libero chucked in there. Don't ever underestimate the importance of a libero to a team. And so, the teams that managed to get the liberos relatively early on will certainly be in a good position to drive the defence and to receive serve.
Just running with that, something that was noted last year that attacking players and front court players were taken ahead of defenders and liberos and such like. So you're seeing similar this time around?
Yeah, yes, without a doubt, the attacking players. I mean, the game's a game of attack and hit. So you cutting me off again? Oh, you're counting down. So yeah, again, the attack was all there. The big boom bangers got picked up. Then the defensive players. Over to you, Susan Blundell.
All right, that's our 3 minutes up. Do we have a pick there for you, Brendan? From
Yep, we
Central?
do. Yep, I put my hand up, but obviously.
Sorry, I missed it.
That's okay. For our next selection, we pick Angelina Paenga.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And Neil, who is your pick for Northern Moana men?
We pick Benetti Swalga.
Thank you very much. All right, same coach is picking again for the next round.
Colin, is that the Benetti, or is there another one? His son coming through or something?
The Benetti. So they're picking again. They're deep in concentration. Same coach is picking again. Central Hauwhenua women and Northern Moana men. Their 3 minutes is starting.
Andrew, just keen to touch base with you and how things are going so far for you tonight. And have you had to pivot at short notice for the picks you wanted to get, or has it been plain sailing so far?
A mixture, to be fair, and you always expect that. Some things you can't control. You can't control other coaches' picks. So, yeah, it's certainly been a couple of surprises.
As one of the 5 returning to the same team or franchise, I guess we can call it, is there anything in particular you want to do this year that you build on from last year?
Oh, that's a bit of a difficult question. You get limited time with your team, but certainly one of the things is just to build a good team environment and be looking out for each other and just being the best we can be in the time that we've got. So what I do like about the whole process is that the players are all excited about it and players are really engaged in it. So there's good buy-in and everyone's keen to get stuck in, and it's also good from a coach's point of view to work with their assistant coach, and that's already been highlighted by Lauren, and that's a fantastic part of it as well from a coaching perspective. But there's so much to look forward to. I just can't wait to get started, really.
Thank you, Andrew. That was wonderful. We have our next picks ready. So, Brendan, who is your pick for the 9th round? The 9th round.
Our 9th selection is Seraphine Williams.
Thank you very much. And Neil, for Northern Moana, Northern Moana men, who is your pick?
We pick James Anderson.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the next ones, Northern Moana women and Midlands Te Wairoa men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Brendan, just keen to chat with you as well. Almost same question as the one to Andrew. How's it gone for you tonight, and has it gone to plan, or has there been a little bit of racing around at short notice to try and pivot a few plans?
I'm not sure Brendan heard you there.
I think Brendan might be deep in conversation.
Yeah.
He must be racing
Yeah,
around.
sorry, I was.
That's all right, mate.
That's all right. I've got a question for Andrew.
You've got
Andrew, I'm really interested in your pickup so far in terms of how that balance of the team looks age-wise. How do you reckon that leadership? You've got some pretty cool cats there, but what do you see in terms of the leadership of your team?
Yeah, I thought someone might ask that. Look, our first pick was Rachel, and Rachel was in Midlands last year, and she's got a real on-court presence, so she'll take some of the responsibility in that area. A lot of players around the country probably won't know Blanca, who's was our setter pick, and she's also a very, very experienced player, and will probably, I anticipate that she'll make a real impact on the court as well. So, and certainly off the court as a leader as well. So, and it is an opportunity for some of the young guns to step up and show what they've got on and off the court. We've got a few of them. The advantage of that, I suppose, is that they know each other and they're used to playing with each other. And that dynamic will be interesting, but I think we'll surprise a few people.
You won't surprise people, mate. That's a very solid answer. That was very cool. And you've also got Liz Hanna from Christchurch as well.
Yeah.
Who's got a bit of experience behind her as well.
Absolutely,
yeah, very cool.
And again, that was part of the thinking, and obviously a quality player as well. But part of the thinking there, and picking up Liz when we did, was providing that on-court leadership as well and experience.
Nice one. Thanks, Andrew. How are they looking for that time, Susan? That clock's ticking away.
They're down to the last minute.
They've been pretty quick so far. I've been pretty impressed with people's ability to manage who's gone, who's still floating around. So I suppose these last sort of 3 or 4 picks for people are going to potentially take that a little bit longer towards that 3-minute mark.
Yeah, I think they would have gone through and worked out what they wanted, and if they had the list of their players, and then just
some options.
Just cross them off. Yeah.
All right, we have our next ones in. Lauren, who is your pick for Northern Moana woman?
Northern Moana selects Zara Pocock.
Thank you, Lauren. And Keith, who's your pick for Midlands Te Wairoa men?
Midlands Te Wairoa men are going to select James Sadlier.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the third picks in the third round, Southern Pounamu women and Central Hauwhenua men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
So, Kayla, keen to get a look at a few more images from last year's NVL. I think always a good opportunity to see who was in the shirts last year. Hopefully it triggers a little bit of trip down memory lane for a few people and what they might expect and what the games look like when we get to playing time in October.
There's Luke, Mana, a lot of the young boys there.
Shout out to Kim Smith. Happy birthday, mate.
Oh, yes.
A great day.
Yeah, there's a bit of height there. That's what you want to see from your middle, the chest above the net.
Half of the Edmonton, the less favoured sister. Mike Watson, you won't be seeing him this year.
No,
I think unfortunately they can't see this at the moment. Is that correct? I think it's picking up on the voices.
Oh, we'll keep quiet then.
Oh, there's Big Sam in the background there.
All right, looks like we have our next picks ready. So we're asking Mary for her Southern Pounamu pick.
For our 9th pick, we would like to have Brooke Smith.
Thank you, Mary. And Colin, who is your pick for Central Hauwhenua men?
Tane McDonald.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the last picks in this round. So I'm going to ask for Midlands Te Wairoa woman and Southern Pounamu.
So we're middle to
Mary,
down.
could you just pop yourself on mute, please?
Outside and opposite, maybe. Middle. middle.
Steve, are you able to mute Mary, please?
Mary, you're giving away your secrets.
Oh, I
Seems like we've all got our problems with the old technology, eh?
So I don't think I've announced that. I have announced. I've lost track. Have we announced the next ones? If not, the Southern Pounamu woman. No, sorry, we're into the next round.
So we were at round 9. Midlands
Yes,
Te
sorry.
Wairoa.
Midlands Te Wairoa, I did, and the Southern Pounamu men. Yes.
Okay. Just while we wait for those picks, just as Sam just super segue before, just a shout out to Kim Smith. Obviously, happy birthday, Kim. Last year's MVP and part of your coaching staff. What was it like having a player of that caliber as part of your coaching staff with the recent tour against Australia?
Yeah, mate, it was outstanding. So it was sort of, as Kim's obviously coached quite a lot at a school level, but it was her induction into the New Zealand framework, kind of. And she's, we were just co-coaches, really. We had Maya Westrip with us as well. But Kim's such an awesome role model for just women in general, you know, across the board in terms of how she holds herself and how she behaves. So can't speak highly enough of that human being. She's absolutely outstanding. I know the girls loved it a bit and learned plenty off her in terms of, you know, quite a lot of stuff around how to be disciplined, how to do things properly as an athlete, because she's been in that space for a while with New Zealand women's rugby first, and then coming back to volleyball after that, and then obviously being the Volley Ferns captain for I'd hate to guess how many years, but quite a few. And so she's phenomenal, mate. We're lucky to have her in our sport. That's very cool.
So Mark, from the other side of the MVP coin, there was Troy Holston last year. What was it that had him stand out from the rest for you throughout the competition last year?
Oh, just the way he commanded the game. There's no doubt. You know, he runs the game exactly the way Seb has coached him to run the game. He runs the game, a great game plan, nothing too complex. Just he knows what he's doing and he gets it done. His decision making is pretty outstanding, and so puts the ball on the spot and the timing, of course. So the ball's not always coming in exactly the right speed, the right time, but he can make the adjustments and make the hitters look really good. And we all know the outside hitters like to look good.
Is there anyone you expect to step up and form, I guess, a similar role this year and do something that looks a lot like what Troy did last year? Who would be your MVP pick this year? Put you on a limb.
MVP pick before the game's played. Now that's going to be a tough one. That is an absolute shocker.
It's only a question for Mark, I know.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, it could be anyone. I mean, we have a tradition of going with players in the winning team, and so really it depends who's going to win. It's good to see the setters getting the MVP because they are the quarterbacks of the game. But again, brother Luke got MVP at a tournament the year before, so Liberos can pick up MVP. So you know, it's anyone's. Anyway,
Mark, is there a position in New Zealand where we've got really strong depth, as you see it, more so than another position on the court?
Sorry, guys, just have to interrupt there. That's our 3 minutes up. So we're going to call for Midlands Te Wairoa woman. Andrew?
Four times again to make it unmute. What story? Okay, just might answer some of the queries that Sam had before with our next pick. We're going with Margaret Lafayette for our next pick, Midlands Te Wairoa.
Thank you. And Sebastian, who's yours?
Pounamu is going to go with Seth Grant.
Thank you very much. We're same picks again, so 3 minutes is starting for those two coaches once again.
Sorry, Suze, could I just ask for a recap? What was, I missed the round before that, before Seb, was it Collins Central? What was his pick?
Right. So we've got 3 more picks. One's a live, one's a middle.
Who's speaking?
We've got Liz who can cover middle.
Andrew, I think you're still on speaker.
No way.
Yeah.
You just mute you, mate.
Sorry, Keith, whose pick were you wanting?
Oh, the one before Seb picked. So whose was that? Was that Central's?
Tane McDonald.
Oh, you got Tane.
No, I didn't, but Colin did.
Yes, that's correct.
You're there, mate. I'll ask you the same question I was set to ask Mark. From a national coach perspective in the men's or women's side, is there a position or positions that New Zealand in general are better stocked in than others, and where's the strengths of our game and the time that you've been in the role that you've seen?
Is this a question for me or Colin? Sorry.
Was Seb, but Seb's deep in thought.
Sorry, it's just my next pick, so I'm just trying to sort myself out.
Yeah, sorry, he's picking at the moment. Sorry. Do you want to pick someone else?
Sam, I'll flick that your way on the basis of availability, given that you're not scrolling through names looking to pick somebody. Where's New Zealand strong at the moment, and where's the areas of development you think across the board for our game on the court? What do we do well, and how does that look?
I can give you a wee answer.
Go for
it. I think we, on the women's side of things, I think if you look across the selections early on, there's quite a bit of passer hitting power, and there was only a couple of setters picked early, and then towards the tail end, our other setters got picked up. So I think we're probably, if we had a wish list, we'd like a little bit more strength across the setting realm in terms of the women's side of things. But yeah, look at the young ones coming through, like my friend Andrew picked up Kathy Porter, so she was in our junior women's team as well. So the strength there, Yanka, who's just gone off to the States, who was available last year, played for Southern Pounamu. She's in the States as well. So there is some stock coming through as well, which is quite exciting. So the sport's in a pretty good space.
All right, we're down to our last 7 seconds here. Andrew's ready to give his pick. Who would you like?
To make sure I'm actually audible. I need to get my laptop picked up seriously. This is not good. What an embarrassment. Our next pick for Midlands Te Wairoa is Alana Pyle.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And Sebastian, who's your pick for Southern Pounamu men?
Our next pick is Daniel Hill.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. That takes us to Southern Pounamu women and Central Hauwhenua men. I think Colin's chomping at the bit to give his pick. So we'll just wait for Southern Pounamu woman. Oh, and Mary, we're ready to go. Wow, awesome work, guys. So Mary, we'll start with you. Who's your pick for the 10th round?
The 10th pick for Southern Pounamu woman, Tenika Hinton.
Thank you very much. And Colin, who's your pick for Central Hauwhenua men?
Michael McHale.
Awesome. Great quick picks there. That takes us quickly to Northern Moana women and Midlands Te Wairoa men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Keep muting.
Mary, you're still on.
More secrets again, Mary. We know who you're picking.
Mark, I'm going to come to you here. NVL, you've seen how it started last year. You've got a handle, obviously, on the schedule this year and the competing teams. Let's look into the future. What does the NVL look like in 3, 4, 5 years' time from your perspective? How does this competition evolve from here?
Yeah, obviously in early days, and we're making the changes. I think people have already commented that that the changes made this year with no marquee players from your own zone certainly opened it up. It's really exciting. I think we're going to get some even better games this year. I think the sort of movement might be looking at building it so that players spend more time in a particular franchise. So once you've played, 3 years in a franchise, you might be protected some way there, so that the coaches, if I mean, a lot of these coaches are going to be around for a few years. So Mary and Pounamu there, Colin's back in central Hauwhenua. And so if they can actually pick players for a number of years, then they might become actually marquee players for them, not from where they've come from, but for the number of years they're playing in that team, and then they can bring in the culture, etc., that the coaches have instilled, and makes it a little bit easier for the coaches.
Nice one. Rewind back a little bit to 1999 and just thereafter when you're coaching the New Zealand team. If the NVL had been in place then, how would you see it helping what you were doing in the national program at that time?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it has to help the national program. The players in those days, we had the club champs, national club champs, and then intermittently we had the IPC. Nothing like the IPC that we have now, believe you me. And so pretty much they went from playing Shirley versus North Harbour versus Pines. Well, they went around in those days, but whomever was around, and from there get together and then off to international competition. So now you've got IPC and a regular outstanding tournament, that one is, and then this is the next level again. So it just prepares everyone that much better. One of the players who was talking before was talking about playing with the best players, and it just makes up for not being able to meet regularly as a national program. So this tournament at any stage had been introduced, everyone would have said, yeah, let's jump on board.
Thanks very much, Mark. That's brought us down to 3 minutes for those picking teams. So Lauren, who is your pick for Northern Moana woman?
With Northern's 10th pick, we're going to take a player out of the Northern zone and select Sarah Taisini.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Keith, who is your pick for Midlands Te Wairoa?
Midlands Te Wairoa, we will select Finn Howard.
Thank you very much, Keith. Last picks in the 10th round, Central Hauwhenua woman and Northern Moana men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
So Sam, just coming back to you around now that we're getting deeper into the rounds, what have you seen? Is there any difference to what you've seen in the women's competition with the pick strategies? Is it very much the same, players moving around the country? Is there anything different really between this year and last year that you can identify so far?
That's a real tough question. There's a lot of names sitting in front of me right now. It's pretty. I don't know if there's anything different in strategy. I think people have chosen when they want to pick certain positions. They've had that mindset when they're going into it. They know what potentially might be left. In terms of when they could wait to pick that person up. If they put them on a par with another couple of athletes, then they can wait if they bracket them together. So. I've sat down and done it in my own head about who I'd be picking in different stages. Like obviously was in this place, that position last year, which was really quite exciting. And so sort of doing it without any pressure was quite nice this year, sort of putting players together. So I think some of the decisions around the Libero pickup strategy for the women might have something to do with that. They've sort of been picked up in the latter half, except for Hauwhenua. The rest might be be seen to be on a bit more of a level par, so they could, if you miss out on one, you're going to get one of the other ones that you think are pretty similar anyway. So there's a little bit of that going on, I think. But yeah, it's some pretty sharp looking lineups.
Thanks, Sam. Our next picks are ready. Hot off the press. Can we please have picks for Central Hauwhenua woman, Brendan?
Our 10th selection is Annalisa Trisoldi.
Thank you very much. And Neil, who's your pick for Northern Moana men?
Yeah, hard shifting islands. Northern Moana.
Thank you.
Petiti Mike Sua.
Thank you very much. Same coaches picking again. We're going into the 11th round. There's 2 more players to be picked in each team. So we're coming back to Central Hauwhenua women who are ready to go, and then we'll wait for Northern Moana men to make their pick in the 11th round.
Quick on the button, Brendan Crichton, isn't he? Mark, I'll come back to you here. The pick strategy, if you were one of these coaches, at what point would you be picking the best player available at a given moment and then switch to something more specific to your team, or would it always start with team first approach in certain roles you were looking for?
Well, I haven't had the privilege of selecting these teams, so I'm not sure how I'd approach it. Probably looking at the best players available. So I'd rank the players I wanted, and then as Sam sort of mentioned, bracket them with various other players, and then you work out your must-have. So must have this player, then or position for that matter. So some coaches obviously went for setters first. Others thought they could wait till the second round and pick their setters from there.
Thanks very much, Mark. Sorry, I'll interrupt you because our next two are ready to go. Once again, Brendan from Central Hauwhenua Woman, who is your pick for the 11th round?
Our 11th selection is Mane Ursum.
Thank you very much. And Neil, who is yours for Northern Moana men?
Northern Moana men pick Reese Mattier.
Thank you very much. Northern Moana woman and Midlands Te Wairoa men, your 3 minutes is starting now.
So Mark and Sam, and feel free to tag team on this one. Like now we're into the 11th round. So what's the profile of the player here that coaches might be looking to add to their team? Is it development focused? Is it specific skill set that they might be missing? Is it a range of things? What are they looking for at this point in the draft?
I reckon I'm throwing in someone who's going to add some value somewhere, like I suppose everyone does eventually, but you're looking for maybe someone who can sub on and put that ball on the floor, or make that substitution who's going to make a difference. So, yeah, I'm looking at that maybe a little bit out the gate, find someone who I reckon is going to add some specific sort of value, not just like an overall general thing, but probably someone who's going to be able to do something special. So,
yeah, I'll be going for you. Got two options here. You can go with that's someone special. Or you can just pick someone for leadership, their leadership abilities. Last year, I remember talking when Mike Watson was selected. I remember talking to Mike Watson before the tournament. He was a little bit dubious about whether he'd get picked up. And I said, don't be surprised. You might get picked up. You've got a lot of experience. You can drive the young guys. And so all those things are really important. So if you've got some whole lot of young, talented players, you might want someone just in there to steady them, to give them their experience.
I hope Mike's not watching this.
Oh, yeah. Mike will be there for sure. You won't mind me telling that story. Well, you might, but too late now.
So from when you're down in this part of the draft, the value picks come up. Based on last year, what you saw, did you see picks at this level contributing in a way that was able to stand out? Did you see those players coming through? And is it predominantly younger players who you might see in this part of the draft who might catch on?
Yeah, I'll have to put my hand up here, Stephen, and sort of say I was very surprised with some of the sort of last couple of round picks, some young guys, schoolboys, 19-year-olds. I was thinking, really, are they going to make a difference? And some of them really did come in, and just, I guess, because they were free, they could just actually swing away, and they had a great time. They really did make a difference. So good on to the coaches.
Nice.
I think the women's side might be a little bit different. There's 11 ones that'll be under 19 in there already. So almost a whole team worth. So there might be that young, there's still a couple out there, but I think you could see a little bit of experience picked at the end too. So quite excited to see who people pick up last.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting place to be, isn't it? With that much youth taken this early, points to good things happening for those players over the last part of the year, right? And in terms of how they flow towards the competition.
Yeah, definitely. Like I know lots of them, and quite a couple have been picked up from the development teams that went to Australia as well. So having a national under-19 junior women's team, and then having a couple of teams travel to Australia, that two coaches that are here took those, is really quite an outstanding feat. There's 36 odd athletes that have had some international exposure in the last few while.
All right, that's our 3 minutes up for the coaches. So Northern Moana woman, who is your pick?
Thanks, Susan. With the 11th pick, Northern Moana select Kalia Norton.
Thank you very much. And Midlands Te Wairoa men, Keith, who's your pick?
Our 11th pick, Midlands Te Wairoa men select Ruben Paul.
Thank you very much. Southern Pounamu woman, your turn to pick, as well as and Central Hauwhenua. I'm mixing this up. Southern Pounamu women and Central Hauwhenua men.
Thanks, Susie. Keith, keen to talk through how it's gone for you so far today in terms of the picks. I'll ask the same one again. Have you had to pivot, or have you largely landed what you wanted?
Bit of a mixed bag. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Vahi just gone on mute there. Yeah, bit of a mixed bag there. I think definitely some of the ones that we were looking at got picked, but a lot of the ones that we put down with big asterisks next to them, we got them. So we're pretty happy. I think it's starting to round out to be a good looking team.
What goes through the coach's brain when someone picks the person you wanted just before you? Have you had that happen to you yet? What's that like? Oh
yeah, absolutely. You've just got to have a backup plan. You've got to have a B, C, and D plan, because sometimes there's another 4 picks in front of you, and so you've got it down in front of you what you want, but it could be 2 or 3 of those options go before you actually get your choice. So yeah, I'm talking to Vahid on the line at the same time, and yeah, we're just going over what the options are. But for all of the different positions, we had everyone listed out, and yeah, we just have to see how it's all piecing together. So yeah, a bit of jigsaw.
Nice one. From a coaching perspective, if I'm a player who gets picked, and sadly I'm not in the draft today, so you don't get the luxury of picking someone who might be the worst player in the country. If I'm a player who steps into your team, what can I expect about being involved in a Keith team? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like?
Well, I guess one of the things about this format is we're not going to have a heck of a lot of time to train together as a team. So it's about a whole lot of communication going on for all of the players while we are apart, and just setting the expectations of what our goals are going to be, and how we're going to play this tournament. Yeah, just a clear understanding of what people's roles are going to be once we do get up into the tournament. Yeah, everyone sort of come together, and a bit of team bonding, and hopefully everyone is going to be so excited on at the time. So yeah, I think it'll be pretty interesting.
As one of the returning coaches, take me back specifically to last year. What was the feeling like with a brand new product and a brand new competition and being involved? How did you feel about it at that time?
Sorry, I can't quite hear. It's a little bit muffled. What was the question?
How was it last year? New competition. How did you feel about a new competition straight off the bat last year? You were one of the coaches involved. What was it like to be involved in the first one?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was really good. I had the privilege of working with Alex last year, and he was great to work with as well. Yeah, we sort of bounced ideas off each other, and again, the selection process last year was fairly similar. So yeah, some of the picks that we wanted disappeared, but there were some that were still sitting there, and we managed to pick up some great picks. So I mean, it was exciting. Different format, obviously, having it over 2 different weekends, and you had the chance to sort of go away and have a little bit of downtime and think about what happened on the first weekend and come back with a different strategy. So yeah, this one's going to be a bit different, but yeah, last year was exciting, and I'm hoping that this one's going to be even better.
Nice one. Thanks, Keith. I'll get back to planning the last part of your day. Good luck.
Thanks.
Was that time check, so we're getting close.
Sorry, muted. All right. Yes, we're now on time. So Mary, who is your pick for the 11th round?
Southern Pounamu woman would like to pick Seraphine Williams.
Thank you, Mary. And Colin, who is your pick for Central Hauwhenua men?
Matt Polly.
Matt Polly. Thank you. Midlands Te Wairoa and Southern Pounamu, your 3 minutes starts now.
Kayla, if we could have a look at how those teams are shaping up now in the women's competition, if we could bring those up and give Sam a chance to have a look at where things are at and throw in a few comments or two based on what he sees there.
We are still waiting for those to come through, but we can look at a slideshow.
pivot, live TV, always the way. Go for it. Somehow Sam Ryburn's featuring in a lot of these photos. Did you go through it early, did you? Nice, thanks, Kayla.
I don't know that guy, mate. He looked a bit different to me. They're shaping up pretty good, eh? We're almost at the tail end of it now. It's pretty.
We are, and our next picks have come in now. So we're going to ask Andrew from Midlands Te Wairoa Woman for your pick in the 11th round.
Yeah, Midlands Te Wairoa 11th pick is Anaya Cole.
Thank you very much. And Sebastian, who's your pick for Southern Pounamu men?
Southern Pounamu is going to pick Luca Villabet.
Thank you very much. Once again, because of the snake selection process, same two coaches are picking again. So Midlands Te Wairoa Woman and Southern Pounamu men, 3 minutes starts now.
Just going to pivot a little bit into the beach environment. I'm sure everyone's seen over the weekend the announcement of the retirement of Sam O'Day, and obviously Sam's been a massive part of the volleyball scene in New Zealand for a long time, both nationally and internationally. And Sam and Mark, obviously someone of his stature in the game, he's achieved a lot both in our country and on the global stage. Just a couple of reflections on his contribution to the sport and how you've seen him.
Yeah, massive over the last wee while, and I suppose with the sort of the increase in profile of beach volleyball in the country, he's been like a pivotal figure in that, you know. So gone and got some good achievements on the world stage, and obviously being part of it, well, half of our peer competing at the Commonwealth Games was pretty outstanding. You know, they're it was great to see both our men's and women's competing really well at the Com Games, and hopefully pushing on towards trying to get New Zealand some spots at the Olympics, I guess, is the sort of the next step. So look, he's been a really big part of it. He's been around, you know, he's a face that you recognise when you think about beach volleyball, and so he's obviously contributed a lot to the sport, which has been awesome.
Yeah, and the O'Day brothers, both of them were always, the question was always there, are you available for the indoor team? Because both of them would have made it at any given time, but their careers on the beach took them around the world and made some outstanding achievements. So well done to them, and good on you, Sam, for your wonderful achievements.
Yeah, both gentlemen too. I think they've come and done some camps down in Christchurch with some beach stuff, like giving back to the sport as well. And so, you know, to have people that are playing at the top level, giving back to some of our younger generations and stuff, and being visible and, you know, approachable is pretty powerful. So yeah, kudos, Sammy, great job.
If he was playing in the NVL, what position would he be?
Any position he wanted, actually. He's pretty damn good. He's pretty damn skilled. You're probably playing passer hitter unless you had awesome passer hitters, and then you play him opposite. Yeah.
On that advice, Mark, I think a few coaches might be on the phone quickly. See where he's at. To go,
Yeah, well, I think any one of the coaches would take him in an instant.
13th player.
Nice. How's that time check, sirs?
We've got 25 seconds left. If both coaches are ready, then we're good to go. All right. So, Andrew, your pick for Midlands Te Wairoa woman. Last one.
Yeah, Midlands Te Wairoa 12th and final pick is Maria Hinabadi.
Thank you very much. And Sebastian, who is your last pick?
Pounamu speaking, Vernick Pfeiffer.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to the last picks for Southern Pounamu women and Central Hauwhenua men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Taylor, are we able to get a look at those team graphics now and go through? Have they come through? Dan, what are you seeing there as those rosters for Midlands Te Wairoa and the Northern Moana fill out there?
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. So Midlands are finished with Anaya Cole and Maria Hinabadi was the last pickup. And so that's one of those, I think that's kind of like the player I was talking about who could come on that court and actually do something outstanding for you and hold a couple of points. So, and their Libero, second to last pick. So pretty solid team. Them and the Pounamu have got quite a young roster, and then the other two, Hauwhenua and Northern Moana, are not, I hate to use the word old, but they're slightly older than those other two rosters. So lots of experience across that Northern team, which is pretty exciting. So Stacey's in there, who's playing rugby at the moment, but still training with the Shirley woman down in Christchurch, so still getting some reps in. Solid pickups from like Fran Edmondson, Lena Samia. It's a pretty solid team. Anna Harrison, there's a lot of experience there, so they're going to have a lot to call on in terms of how they play the game and what they bring into it. And obviously their number one pick, Ashley Hancock. So pretty solid teams, very solid teams.
Nice one. Where are we at time-wise?
There is a minute and a half left. Mary's ready, but I think Colin's still having a look.
So up on the screen now, everybody, is obviously the updated Southern Pounamu roster and the Central Hauwhenua roster. Talk us through what you see there, Sam. Yeah,
the last, Maui, their 8th pick from Southern Pounamu, can do a bit of everything. So that's a pretty versatile player they've picked up there, which is going to add to their sort of ability to move Lily potentially around the court, and Kalani as well with their second setter with Mel Van Ork coming in, who's a setter for Pioneer Volleyball Club down in Christchurch. Has quite a bit of experience. She did some stuff with the Volley Ferns earlier on in the year. So they've got a good balance there. That's going to be quite exciting to see what sort of lineup they put out. And then on the flip side, on the other coin, on the other side of that screen there, I think looking pretty tidy. Holly Chandler's back to full fitness, which is good. So shoulder's good. Ange is one of the middles from the under-19s team. So a good young pickup, solid there too. Seraphina can do absolutely phenomenal things. So look, I'm telling you, I thought I'd be able to tell you who I thought would be my favourite, but it's going to be pretty difficult.
That's good. Sounds like the teams are evenly balanced. So we've got our last picks here for Southern Pounamu women. Mary, what's yours?
Our 12th pick is Lyric Coria.
Thank you very much. And Colin, who is your pick for Central Hauwhenua men?
Ethan Skelton.
Thank you very much. Last pick's coming up now for Northern Moana women and Midlands Te Wairoa men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Kayla, if we could bounce to the updated graphics for the men's teams.
Sorry, okay, men. Sorry, my bad.
So Mark,
so we got Hauwhenua there. I'm really liking the look of that team. I mean, there's everything there. You got the youth, you got the experience, you got some big units there. Ben Arnold, when Ben can get his float serve going, it's a genuine international float serve. You've got Lenny there who just jumps out of the gym, and when you're in trouble, just set the ball somewhere near sticky and he'll be able to put it away. So yeah, I'm liking the look of that there. The Southern Pounamu, well, Seb knows the game he wants to play and he's picked the players to play that game. So the challenge for the other squads will be to upset that style, upset that tempo they like to play. And Seb's challenge will be to get all those players on board and playing that type of game in a relatively short time.
Yeah, what do you think about, given the short turnaround of the camp together and the 3 days together, how challenging will that be for Seb to get players who are all on up to speed with the style and the speed of play that he wants? Is that going to be something that's really challenging, or do you expect something that'd be quite easy for him to do?
Oh, no, it won't be easy. Last year at the coaches' discussion, they were talking, and Seb sort of said it took him quite some time to get his setters up to that speed. The advantage I think Seb's got now is that all the players know what he wants. So previously they weren't really sure what it actually meant. Now they've all seen it. They've seen his Shirley Club team, Academy men's team, and last year's Southern Pounamu. They all play a very similar game, similar speed, so they know what it's about, and so just got to get that connection with their setters. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but if it comes off, he's got some hitters there who can do some damage. And having Cristobal Lopez in the mix this year, he brings another level of speed and power in the middle. I'm looking forward to.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your analysis on those first 10 picks in the men's. We've got our final ones coming in for Northern Moana women. Lauren, who is your final pick?
Our final pick for Northern Moana is Caitlin Studer.
Thank you very much. And Midlands Te Wairoa, Keith, who is your final pick?
Midlands Te Wairoa are very excited to choose J.R. Prospero.
Thank you very much. Last picks, final picks for the evening. Last one's called for Central Hauwhenua women and Northern Moana men. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Nice, thanks, Susan. Taylor, can we bounce through those last two updates for those men's teams? Thanks. Excellent, Mark. What do you see there in terms of the Midlands Te Wairoa team in front of you there?
Well, yeah, they've also got a lot of power there. So you got Daniel Kirkpatrick, who was pretty dominant at MPC this year. Hits the ball high, hits the ball hard. Tala is a very similar sort of player. Once Tala's on and get a ball in the right spot, and he's got action to put it there for him. He's very, very difficult to stop. Connor Giannotti in the middle, very handy. They're going to be very, very tough. I see they've got young Finn Howard there. He's in the under-19s at IPC this year. So it's good to see the coaches going and recognising some players. He was in the winning Canterbury team, played very well at that tournament. So they're certainly not going to be the easy beats. Well, it's going to be, as Sam pointed out, there's no easy beats. It's just so even.
I think we have our final picks in. So I'm going to call for Brendan from Central Hauwhenua. Who is your last pick?
For our 12th selection, we are going to go with Sydney Clough.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And the final pick of the 2022 draft goes to Northern Moana men. Neil, who is it?
We pick Joseph Lega.
Thank you very much. That completes all the picks from the coaches. Over to you, Steve.
Excellent. Thanks, Susan. So last words, Mark and Sam. Start with you, Sam. What if you could sum up the draft and what you've seen in one or two words, what would they be?
Do that over. I'll chat to you in a day or two.
Thanks, Neil. I'll chat to you in a day, a couple of days too, Neil.
Go for it, Sam.
I think balance would be one word that I put. I think the teams have managed to balance themselves out really quite nicely. If I was hedging bets on the top three picks, I would have had Hauwhenua probably ranked a little bit further down, but looking at their roster now, I think across the board, the balance is is pretty good. Yeah, I like their last pickups. Young Mani is a good tall player from North Harbour, and then Sydney Clough's obviously fairly experienced beach player, and will bring a bit of experience there too. Look, it's an exciting time for these teams. I can't wait to see how these coaches put these teams out on the court. I'm going to sit down later on and see who my starting sixes would be for each of them, and yeah, it's looking really sharp.
Yeah, likewise, exciting is the word that first comes to mind. Going to be one hell of a tournament. The condensed nature of the tournament will mean that the coaches are going to have to play more of their players more often. The short turnaround in games, so they can't just go to their starting 7 and leave it there. They've got to give those other guys some court time, otherwise their starting lineups will just be too tired come day 3. So a lot of players are going to get some really quality ball played over a fantastic 3 days of volleyball. Good luck to everyone.
Nice one, well said, Mark. And I'd just like to thank both of you for the insight tonight. Really appreciate, and I'm sure the community does as well, the insight that you were able to give as all of the coaches were doing their thing going through that snake draft. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, just so for everyone, as a final wrap-up, a little bit more detail and updated information. So obviously you've seen the dates and the venue of the NVL. There's still information to come around ticket access. We're in the final processes of landing the ticket access and pricing. And a lot of the information this year in the competition will be on our website page for the NVL. It will look a little bit different to what it did last year. It'll have a little bit more content that is focused on players and telling a little bit more stories about the teams and the people who are part of those teams. Obviously, there's quite a few weeks in the lead up to the NVL, and it's certainly not going to go quiet in the lead up to that. There'll be regular content put onto those pages, and through Kayla's good work, that'll be available on social media as well. So there's a lot of things that we'll continue to work through. The players who've been chosen tonight, you'll get communication out through us and through Susan in the first instance in the next 24 hours that will give you a lot of the detail that might answer a few questions that you might have. And if you've got any more, she will be a great place to start to give you the answers. She knows a lot about everything in my experience. So I'd just like to thank the VNZ staff for their contributions. Susan's put in a power of work this week ahead of this competition, and Kayla as well. So I think you saw the results of that tonight, and just want to acknowledge both of their hard mahi that they did in helping deliver this to the standard that it was. And obviously thanks to the coaches for your involvement again, really appreciate it, and obviously coming with us on the journey this time and talking to your picks and being available to speak to them live where we did that. It was really valuable, and really appreciate your insight and the comments you're able to give. Big shout to Perry Preston as well. I saw him get picked up in the draft as he was last year. He's also done a lot of work for us this week with the graphics that you've seen in social media and as the backdrops to what you're seeing now in the coverage. So thanks, Perry, and good luck for the competition. Hope it goes well for you, mate. And obviously, just want to thank everybody out there, the draft parties that got together. Hopefully we put on a good show for you, and looking forward to seeing what we can do as we continue to lead up to this year's competition. Thanks, everybody. Mā te wā.